Mia had always dreamed of the skies. Growing up in a small town with not much to offer, she had never imagined that her passion for aviation would lead her to a prestigious pilot training camp. But that's exactly where she ended up, driven by determination, her love for flying, and the belief that she could achieve anything she set her mind to. Her journey to the training camp had been anything but easy. Mia was not from a wealthy family. She didn't have the connections or the high-end gear that the other cadets had, but what she did have was an unyielding passion for flying and an incredible ability to learn quickly. She had spent years studying aviation manuals, practicing on simulators, and taking every opportunity to learn about the craft that she loved. When Mia arrived at the pilot camp, she knew it would be tough. The other cadets came from prestigious backgrounds, many of them already had years of flying experience. But Mia's heart beat only for the sky, and she was determined to prove that she belonged there just as much as anyone else. However, it wasn't long before she realized the challenges she would face were far greater than what she had anticipated. From the start, Mia felt like an outsider. The instructors looked down on her because of her humble background, and the other cadets often whispered behind her back. They didn't understand how someone like her, a woman with little experience and no family legacy in aviation, could be there. It was clear they believed she didn't belong. But Mia wasn't the type to back down from a challenge. One day, during a rigorous flight training exercise, Mia's instructor, Captain Daniels, openly criticized her in front of the entire class. "You're too simple for this," he said. "You're not cut out for this kind of training. Maybe you should reconsider your career path." The words stung, and Mia felt the weight of rejection pressing down on her. But rather than crumble under the harsh words, something inside her snapped. This wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of a new chapter. Determined to prove herself, Mia spent every waking hour perfecting her skills. She practiced her maneuvers, studied maps and flight plans, and pushed herself harder than ever before. She wasn't just learning how to fly, she was learning how to be the best. Slowly, she started to gain the respect of her fellow cadets. They began to see that despite her simple background, Mia had the heart of a true pilot. She was resilient, disciplined, and smarter than anyone had given her credit for. Weeks passed, and Mia's performance in the camp started to improve. But just as things seemed to be turning around, disaster struck. During a routine exercise, a series of unfortunate events led to a crash landing for one of the advanced pilots. The situation was chaotic, and the camp was in disarray, as the aircrafts were grounded for repairs. With the best pilots temporarily grounded, the camp was faced with a difficult decision. It was during this crisis that Mia saw an opportunity to prove her worth. The F-22 fighter jets, some of the most advanced aircraft in the world, had been left in the hangar, and the camp was short on pilots to run the emergency exercises. The instructors, in a desperate attempt to maintain some semblance of order, began calling in volunteers to fly the jets, but no one wanted to risk it. The F-22 was notoriously difficult to handle, and the consequences of failure were catastrophic. But Mia didn't hesitate. "I'll fly it," she said, her voice steady and confident. The room went silent. No one had expected her to step forward. The other cadets laughed nervously, dismissing her as foolish. The instructors exchanged glances, unsure whether to laugh or be concerned. Captain Daniels raised an eyebrow, clearly skeptical of her abilities. He asked incredulously. "You're not ready for something like that." But Mia's eyes didn't waver. "I am ready," she said. "I've been ready from the start." Despite their doubts, the instructors reluctantly agreed, assigning Mia to take the F-22 for a test flight. As she sat in the cockpit, strapped into the seat of one of the most powerful machines on the planet, Mia felt an overwhelming sense of calm. This wasn't about proving anything to anyone else. This was about proving to herself that she had the skill, the courage, and the heart to succeed. The engines roared to life, and Mia taxied the jet onto the runway. With the wind rushing past her and the force of the plane's power beneath her, Mia soared into the sky. Every maneuver was perfect. Every turn was calculated with precision. She was in control, and the aircraft responded to her every command as if it knew she was its rightful pilot. When she returned to the base, the camp erupted in disbelief. Mia had just completed the most difficult flight of all, an F-22 landing after taking off from an unfamiliar runway, under extreme pressure, and proving every single doubter wrong. Captain Daniels walked over to her, his expression unreadable. For a moment there was silence. Then he nodded. "I was wrong about you," he said quietly. "You belong here." Mia had not only proven that she was capable, but she had also shown that no matter the obstacles, she could rise above them. She wasn't just a simple woman anymore. She was a fighter, a pilot, and someone who had defied all odds to land an F-22 on their turf. And from that day forward, the camp would never underestimate her again. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe. My channel expects stories.